Hello and welcome to part 6 of our playthrough of Songs of Syx in the great city of Foremenlore. Once again, we're starting off fairly well. We've got a decent amount of food that we have, we've got a bunch of money that we have as well, and that's thanks to the fact that we're selling off a lot of our harder to make resources. So we're selling off our clothes, our iron, and also our furniture. I think today we're going to focus on trying to get some more people in, if we possibly can. Just so we can continue to expand and also expand out our research. So, let's get going. Yeah, overall things are looking pretty well. If we double check our messages as well, we did unlock a new level, which is a Prontic, so we can make rations, we can also supply our army as well. We don't really have enough people to kind of make a militia as of yet, but we should probably start thinking about it because we probably will do in the future. Mostly just keep ourselves safe from bandits. I think the first couple of bandits we're going to have to just take it on the chin and go into a little bit of debt. But we'll just have to see how we do. Overall, our stockpiles are doing pretty good. I do wish our food situation was doing a little bit better. A slaver has arrived. Actually, you know what? I think I will actually just purchase a couple. Yeah, only 2 Cretonians. That's the only thing we have money for. We got 2 of them just to make it so that we have a couple more workers. So we currently got 4 slaves and we've got very good submission, so if we can keep that going, that'd be very nice. Extra slaves will mean that we have extra people for the fields, so we could even potentially add in another field as well, though we might just add in another fishery now that we're looking at it, although this place doesn't have any fish. With the changes to the fisheries now work better if there's these little fish icons, which you can see around here. So actually, if we could build a little bridge over here, this would make a very nice kind of fishery area, which I think we might try and do. We might as well. Let's just remove some of the water here. We'll get them to do that. We'll remove the water and we'll make a nice big fishery kind of around this shallow area here in the middle of the river. And with that, that should make us use a bunch more of our laborers and also give us some more fish, because we're very reliant on imports at the moment for our food. Even though we've got decent number of grain being produced, we've actually got a fairly good stockpile of grain. Oh, that's very nice of you to give us some eggs. What great neighbours we have. Yes, we will accept these eggs. And we'll also accept that little bit of money that you're giving us as well. They're obviously looking at us and going, well, they're our friends and they're doing very not the best. They could be certainly doing a lot better for how many people we have. So the fact that they're being good neighbours, I can't really complain about at all. But other than that, I think things are going, they're going reasonably okay. We've got our charcoaler, who's working just now to produce charcoal. That seems to be the limiting factor. Other than our iron, the iron is going to be easier to expand. In terms of coal, the only source of coal we have is up here at the top of the map. And I think that's it, yes. So we're going to be reliant on our charcoaler for probably the foreseeable future at the very least. Okay, good. We've managed to clear that out. Let's build this nice little fishery here. So we'll just build it up nice and big like that. That's going to give us some pretty good production. A lot of fishermen that will be used with it, but I think that's worth it. Let's also build up a thing for some extra efficiency like so. And of course, we'll build up a small storage for our fish. Yeah, we'll just pop that over here, just sort of by there. Should let us do a lot, and that's going to be very efficient as well because we've got a lot of fish inside here. And it only costs us 26 wood. It's going to be very worker intensive, but I think we can deal with that. Just means that we're going to be slightly lacking in our laboratory for a while. Plus, we're not really going to be able to use this kind of terrain for much else. So I think a fishery here is going to be a good idea. I don't really want to connect up over here to the other side of this channel. I prefer our one kind of access point to be over here. We can potentially build some defenses around there when we start to think about things like walls and invading forces. But for the moment, I think we're still okay. We hopefully shouldn't be beset by bandits anytime soon. If we do, yeah, then we'll struggle with that a little bit. But we can just, pay them off and then hopefully live to fight another day. Yeah, the fishery is going well. We're actually kind of paying ourselves back with the number of wood or trees that we're cutting down here. So it's a net positive in terms of construction resources, which is always nice. You can't complain about that for sure. So while we're doing that, we'll see our workers suddenly drop down when that happens, and we'll just have to have a little look how we're doing for our people. They're fairly loyal, they're fairly happy. How we're doing for services, not that great. We could do with some extra research, but we're about to just lose half of our workforce as we finish up this fishery. Yeah, they're working away, that's going to be good. I mean, these fisheries here are actually working very well. This one not so much because it's not upgraded. This one, you can see it's making double. So these two fishery, that takes 7 workers, and it's producing somewhere around 9 fish a day. And we'll see what the projections are for this. It's going to take a lot more workers, but hopefully it should be much more efficient in terms of how much fish we're getting per worker. And if we can increase the number of fish that we're getting up, then that'd be great. The fish, unfortunately, does spoil fairly quickly, but, you know, it's something you have to deal with. And you can see there, whoa, look at them go. With 16 people, that is up to 17 fish a day. So we've nearly doubled the amount of fish that we've gotten just from all of our guys here. Unfortunately, we can't really upgrade it because we need more cloth, which would mean that we would have to take people off of our clothiers, or sorry, our tailor, in order to do that, but we can have a little think about that. Let's maybe think about helping out our humans a little bit more. We'll just give them as much of a handout as we can. Yep, there we go. That should boost their loyalty up just a little bit. Pay them so that we get more people in. People are going, oh yeah, love this place. It just gives out free money to the humans. What isn't to love? And we can see that our number of fish is starting to skyrocket, just in time as well, because it looks like we've just run out of grain. So we couldn't really, you know, ask for better timing with that. And especially once we manage to actually get some of our cloth together, which probably won't be anytime soon. We're kind of running lowish on cotton. So we potentially want to think about making another cotton farm, but we'll see how we do. We want to concentrate on getting more people. We can see we're getting a little bit of immigration, which is good. It should mean that we get all of our fishermen, and then more importantly, we get all of our laboratories up. Speaking of our laboratories, I know we're just about to lose out a little bit. Is there anything we can do to improve ourselves? Let's work safety. We could think about starting to unlock plumbing. Plumbing is a potential to do. Only costs 100. We will want to do that sooner rather than later. Or we can get fishery methods, which only cost us 50. I think we do that. And I think we also get this. We're going to struggle for a little bit here with our research because of that, because we've got more research tied up, so that means that we're going to need more of our scientists. We still have 9, so the drop shouldn't be too drastic, and we still got our wet nurses as well. But we should start to be making a bunch more of our fish, which is good. We need to think a little bit more about housing. We've got the houses over here that are probably going to be getting full up relatively quickly. This one at least is isolated. We know once these all have people in it, then we're going to need to expand our housing. But for now, I think we're okay. Let's actually expand out the road network a little bit here as well, just so everywhere's covered by a road as much as we can. Perfect. And look at them go. Beautiful. Working away. There's so much wood here as well that we're just not going to be using for quite a long time. And as far as our interlots go, it doesn't seem like we're anywhere near the number of maximum animals now. We've only got 11 animals out of 46, and we're still producing 3 meat, which is more than we are out of our aurochs. And we're also producing some animals as well. So that's good. So that means that our meat should be reasonably stable, though out of all of our food sources, that's the one that is the least stable. Also, I should definitely think about adding in egg storage over here, just so we have somewhere to store all of those lovely eggs that we got, because we did get quite a lot of them. I think we got like 300 eggs, so they should be able to put them away. And that'll be good. Once we can get this upgrade when we have the cloth available, that'll also be very, very helpful. Other than that, we've got our shrines here. They're doing well. How are our services on our market? Doing fine. Food stalls doing fine. Yeah, I think everything's going pretty well. Potentially we want to kind of expand out here to expand our farms in a little bit, but I think we're okay for just now. Definitely the food situation seems to be much happier than it was before. Now that we have a decent number of grain, we've massively expanded out our bakery, so now we're producing a lot of bread, so long as we have the grain storage for it. But now that we have, how many grain farms we have? We just have the 2. Potentially we want to think about when we harvest this to get another grain farm, which I think we will. Yeah, let's just copy that. And we'll build another grain farm over here. This will mean that the people available will start clearing that out. That's absolutely fine. And would you look at that, we've actually managed to get enough immigration that everybody's quite happy. And we've got no problems with housing. We will give you, oh my goodness, 200 rations, please. What lovely people we have as neighbours. You know, you really can't complain when they're just giving you free stuff. So we'll have to store those rations inside here, but that means that our food reserve should just absolutely skyrocket. We have the rations available, we've got a decent number of everything else stored up, especially our bread. And we'll obviously be importing vegetables and fruit as it comes in. We are dropping slightly when it comes to research, but we can always add in additional people to our laboratories in order to make sure that's alright. Speaking of not laboratories, but lavatories, it seems like that lavatory is okay. And where's our second one? Over here? Yep, that seems to be alright as well. Everyone seems to be quite fine. We've got a decent number of clothing. Part of me is wondering if we maybe give more clothing out just to improve happiness ever so slightly. Or we maybe do something with our rations. People are mostly happy, but I think just the amount of immigration is impacting happiness slightly. Let's bump up their access to furniture. It's not maybe not the best idea, but I mean furniture has a slight spoil rate. Very small spoil rate, but it still happens. But we are producing 10 per day. This should hopefully improve people's moods and happiness by quite a bit. And that will help us quite a lot. But yeah, no, I think overall everything is going pretty well. We don't really have to worry so much. We could potentially think about building things like ponds, maybe some moats, and some canals in our water pump. Though the problem with the water pump is that it is fairly worker intensive, at least until you get upgraded. But we could use it to potentially increase the fertility of these sort of various farms that we currently have. They will give us human slave and a bunch of... These guys are great. Why did I badmouth them before? I think it was because they were demanding a bunch of stuff, but the fact they're just giving us loads of things, including a slave, fantastic. You cannot complain. You cannot complain. Overall, things going very, very nice. We should probably actually make a decree, because this will help all of our humans. Where is our human slave if we figure out how to emancipate them? Yep. So let's emancipate all of our human slaves, and that should make everybody much happier. Hey, there we go. Whereas the humans like the fact that we actually have these Kryptonians that are here, and we dislike it when we have former slaves that are part of our citizenry, but it should be okay. People should be a little bit happier because of that. They don't like it when their own race is being held in bondage. Let's actually just get rid of this workstation. We don't need it anymore. We're absolutely fine. Oh, a little bit of lightning. Very, very rapid lightning storm that's happening here. But yeah, I think overall things are going quite well. We do, when we get the research, which is going up now that we have more scientists than I think we have ever had before. Our research is going up even with the amount that we put in, which is good. If we can, we want to think about getting more services as well as better production efficiencies, if we can possibly manage it. That would be good. How much do we need for organization? We need sculpting for that, and that requires 300. Okay, so yeah, we need some sculpting. And which one is sculpting? That's fancy roads. Sculpting this one, oh, 900. Okay, that's going to be quite expensive. We don't want to unlock anything like a fancy hearth. I don't see the point in that for just now. And when it comes to improved laboratories, it takes quite a lot for us. We could start making makeshift weapons, but we're not quite in the range where we're actually wanting to start our militia. We just need a little bit more people. That's all it is. We've got the grain farmer over here. Fantastic. Oh, look at that fishery. 20 fish per day. And you can actually see the number of fish that we have. They do spoil fairly quickly, but having this number of fish is going to push up our days of food. We could even potentially start to think about things like double rations. Great. For anybody who loved the original Stronghold as much as I did. That could be very helpful for improving our happiness and improving our immigration, but I think what we're going to do is instead we're going to pay everybody off. Let's have a little look and see. Yeah, for the small price of 5,000, we can make everybody very happy, and this will cause another massive immigration wave. All the while, it looks like we have our next set of babies. Fantastic, so that means our children have all grown up. Cannot complain about that at all. So that should also mean that we have a larger number of native people and less immigrant. The more immigrants we have, the less happy our population is. Actually, speaking of immigration, we potentially want to just give these Kryptonians just a very small handout, because they do like the handouts. Yeah, we give them 800. And that'll boost a couple of 800s. There's more than just one 800. That was like, what? 3,200 in total. But that will push their loyalty up, it'll push their happiness up, and it will give us more people. And you can see that we are starting to get many more people coming in. Helped as well by the fact that we have such a high number of food days left, and also helped from the fact that we don't actually have any homelessness at the moment, which is another great boon. As soon as you get somebody who's homeless, they start to not get too happy with you. So the more we can do to stop that, the better. And that's how we'll continue on. From here, we could potentially, think about some irrigation stuff, although I maybe want to just redo the whole farming sector, or start building proper over here and having the proper farming sector up by the river and then the pastures over here, but I think that's probably a bit too much of a big undertaking for just now. Let's actually add in all of the scientists. We're going to get full science on the go, just to make sure that we're going to be getting all of our knowledge. How is our janitor doing? The janitor should be doing okay. Yeah, we're not getting any degradation anywhere. Let's actually just double check his working radius. So he is working on everywhere except potentially this fishery. We might want to build another janitor down here at some point, unless we want to increase his working radius, but you don't want your janitors to have to work on too many things at once, because they really just don't like it. Some nice benches over here. Over here we should definitely think about upgrading this to a nice paved road, just to make everybody a little bit happier. We've got the stone, we might as well. In fact, we probably should actually think about upgrading all of the roads. It will make all of our humans so much happier, at least for getting around. Yeah, I think that's probably a worthwhile thing to do, especially now that we do have the labour to do it. Let's just make it so that we have cobblestone roads leading over to the farms, leading over to these housing districts over here as well, and the little alleyways, and up over here too. And then we'll upgrade this bit of road as well, and then this little alleyway here as well. We'll just upgrade all the way up, and boom, there we go. And we'll maybe just bring down this little alleyway over here until it just connects up to those two there. Really going against the idea of symmetry now. You know, the war against symmetry has happened. So due to low happiness, a local dispute between two citizens of opposing religions spread across the whole city. Followers of Athuri and Aminion are now at each other's throat and fight each other wherever they meet. We must fix our happiness issues before this spreads any further. Why are you unhappy? Why are you unhappy? This is not allowed. Your happiness is fine, at least for the humans. How are you? Oh no, you are not happy at all. Which is weird, because these guys are mostly religious, and they're also creatorism, so they're not the issue. It's probably these guys here. The Dundorians don't seem to be very happy in terms of religion. Neither do the humans. Potentially we want to actually just disallow Aminism and Schmalerism, because they're both at odds with the other two. At least creatorism and Athurianism can actually live together. These guys start to become a little bit less happy, but we should hopefully have also a small conversion towards Athuri and creatorism, which we have the shrines for already. So a little bit of a happiness hit to begin with, but should hopefully be able to boost that back up afterwards. Speaking of boosting up, our food stockpiles are doing great. We have so much fish now, thanks to this fishery. If we could actually get the cloth together in order to upgrade that fishery, I think that would be a massive help, at least in terms of the amount that we're using. We could boost up our ore mine, but our ore mine isn't the issue, it's actually our charcoaler. We could also upgrade that once we get the research done. Speaking of research, how are we doing? We're doing okay. We've got 22 people working in here, which is quite a lot for how much research we actually have, but potentially we'll just have to build another laboratory when we get a second. Speaking of research, we've got 270. Is there anything good that we could unlock just here? We could unlock stages, we could unlock refined tastes, which will improve the food stalls. I think that is worth it, so we can upgrade our food stalls. How much does that cost? Acquire some pottery, so we'll need to make a potter in order to do that. We are importing some clay. When it comes to mining clay, there's clay over here and over here. They're both very far away from our city. We need to like basically make a new almost outpost to just mine the clay, which we will do in the future, but I think for now we just work on just crafting up this potter, which we also need to unlock with pottery. So let's go do that. I'm actually very surprised that's not locked behind pottery, but there you go. So where is the potters? There's agriculture, husbandry, civic knowledge, crafting. Should be here. Yep, there we go. So we'll unlock pottery. Could also unlock masonry so we can unlock better roads. That is also a potential choice, but we do also potentially want to unlock the smithy. Or things like our makeshift armor. Wonder if we can actually get anything for our weavers so they can go a little bit faster. No, so we need 250 for that. Okay, that's fine. But that means we can now build up our potter. We need to actually have a little think about how we want to do this. So we're probably going to want to have another street coming up here. And we'll just build like a small kind of up the way bit here for this. I'll build up our little door as well. Make sure that we're building this out of stone. Fantastic. And we'll build up a little workbench that just kind of comes along the side here. Nice and simple for our first foray into this. Make sure we've got plenty of efficiency. Just bring this down a little bit. Perfect. And we'll bring out some storage right next to the door. And that should be good. There we go. It's going to take 9 employees, but it will produce us quite a bit of pottery, and we can probably use that. We import the clay, we make pottery, and then we export it back out. At least until... or once we get everything boosted up with our food stalls, at the very least. Speaking of that, how are we doing over the fishery? Still doing very well, 20 fish a day. So fish is probably actually our best source. Yeah, we're getting 30 per day. Almost as much as we're getting for our bread. Whereas obviously what happens with our farms is we get it all at one time. So it says we get 7 per day. We don't. We get a whole bunch at once. That's absolutely fine. And that people are just working away. We will expand this laboratory at some point. Don't know when that'll be, or even if we don't actually expand this particular laboratory, we'll actually just make another one. We could consider as well making some more houses. That is also a chance, or also a potentially good thing to do, so that we can have people a little bit closer. Yeah, I think that's probably a good idea actually. Let's just build another small housing establishment over here. Again, not symmetrical, but I think that's fine. There we go. Yeah, so people will be doing that. We probably want to tell our guys as well, go and gather some more stones. Like so. Yeah, just gather all the stones you can. Just remove them. We'll use them for our building. We will potentially want to come in and start upgrading all these longhouses as well, but look how much nicer our homes are. At least for our humans. So our humans actually have furniture, they have wooden floors. I think our Donorians are using a little bit of stone as well, but let's have a little look at our access. We could even potentially give people more furniture, and that would then make them more happy. But, certainly something to consider. I don't know if it's the best shout, because we are using them for our one of our main exports. At least we've managed to diversify it ever so slightly with our exports. Speaking of diversifying, we need to have a little look at this warehouse. Part of me does want to shut this down and expand it. I don't think we actually need this to hold livestock anymore. The other one is already doing that. I think instead what we'll do is we'll get them to hold the actual pottery itself. Yes, that sounds like a good idea to me. Bit of a shame we can't get the clay in this warehouse as well, just to speed things up, but we will expand this out when we get a wee second. We just need it to keep running for just now. Unavailable clay. We should still be importing clay, are we not? Or do we maybe change it around? I think we might change it around to import the vegetables. Well, given that we have decent enough resources, I think we're okay. Let's actually just make sure we're importing, say, 90 clay. Doesn't cost that much, and we can have a little look and see how much we can make off the pottery once we've upgraded all of our market stalls. So yeah, we're just going to have to wait until the clay comes in. Glorious trade. Glorious, glorious trade. It's definitely helping us quite a lot. And because we're also running a little bit low on workforce, let's actually just give a little bit of a handout to these Cretonians, just so they're nice and happy. And we'll give another payout as well. Yep, there we go. That should bring up their happiness high enough that people will want to move in. And that should be good enough for us. We would like more benches, so we maybe think about helping our citizens a little bit by making things a little bit better. So let's make some, not structure, sorry, decorations. Let's make some more benches. We'll make a nice little bench area, probably over here by the well. I think that would be a nice place for it to go, yeah. And then it also shouldn't impact our ore mine. Maybe even we'll put a nice little tree down. Yeah, we'll put a nice little tree down over here, right next to the well. And then it'll be right next to the people slaving in the ore mines. But yeah, we won't think about that. It does cost a lot of wood to build that tree, but that's fine. It should help the environment around here, certainly make more of the people that are living here a little bit happier as well. Which would be perfect. And with that, we've actually managed to get back up our workforce as well. Fantastic. And we've got a couple more homes as well for people. We still don't have any homeless, which is great. We don't want to have homeless people if we can help it. And how are we doing with our graves? We have every single one is available. We just gotta hope that nobody dies anytime soon. Speaking of that, how is our fruit levels doing? Our fruit levels are doing okay. We just want to keep an eye on that because we've obviously got our kids. If our kids were to die, people would become very, very unhappy very quickly. Not sure why. Maybe it's just something I don't get. Our level of clothes is dropping. I think that's down to our cotton farms. So we have just the one cotton farm actually. So we'll probably want to build another cotton farm. Problem is the fertility here is starting to become pretty bad kind of around this bit, but yeah, I think we just build another cotton farm there and we worry about the fertility once we have the people available to do the pumping. And once we have that, we'll probably actually be mostly routing it through these bits here. We'll get rid of these fisheries potentially as well. These are really nice for giving us obviously increased fish, but we have our mega fishery up over here. Or even if we don't get rid of them, we'll probably resize them just so that we can build a little canal going through here. Or we'll just build a pumper over here. Choices, choices, choices. The new irrigation system is quite cool. I do quite enjoy it. It just has the issue that it's either very resource intensive to get nearly automated pumps or very worker intensive. And certainly at the start, I always struggle to make sure that I have enough people. How are our humans doing in terms of their access? Yeah, they're quite happy. Unfortunately, they don't enjoy fish as much as the dwarves. So the dwarves should be very happy with their current food. And a bunch of Cretonians. They've taken our money and run. How could they? How could we? We should enslave a lot of them. How many have we lost? Doesn't seem so bad just now. It looks like it might just be the one. If it's just the one, I can take that on the chin. Yeah, so it looks like it's just the one. Yeah, that's fine. We can deal with that. He was sick of the fact that he wasn't getting as paid as good boy points anymore. But never mind. Speaking of good boy points, our research is doing quite a bit better, so we can have a little think about what we want to do with that. Potentially increasing our agriculture could be a good shout, just so we get some more food in, but we're doing okay for food, at the moment at the very least. We could build fancy markets, that's also a possibility. Or we could start to build stages. That would make it so that people would be happier with us. Did we unlock fancy stone? I believe we did. No, we didn't. So let's actually unlock masonry. Yes, because we're going to want that sooner rather than later. Just so we can help upgrade certain buildings. How are we doing in terms of pottery? We should have a little bit. Yeah, we've got 62. So let's upgrade our food stalls. Make them just a little bit fancier. There we go. Yep, nice. And that should also increase the amount of service people are getting from them as well. I thought we had another one. There we go. Yeah. So we'll make sure you're upgraded too. So we've got nice little market stalls for our food. And that should also make people just a little bit happier as well. Which should then mean we get more immigration. Speaking of immigration, we don't really have much money, so we're still just waiting for the traders to come through in order to give us our goods. We have a bunch of grain, so we should be making a whole bunch of bread. And when we start to make that bread, then we can feed our people a little bit more. Our humans will be a little bit happier. They don't mind the fish, but they prefer the fruit. But they do enjoy bread. We have a lot of iron stockpiled up as well. This is a good thing to have. I know that sounds like I'm saying it as if it's a bad thing, but it's actually quite a good thing. Can't be too upset about that. And we're actually up to 160 people as well, so we're not expanding too badly. Seems that if you just want people to come, best way to do it is bribes. And if you're struggling when you're playing along in your games as well, consider giving out a couple of bribes. I always find they help quite a bit. Speaking of bribes, let's maybe bribe some of more of our humans with some more furniture. I think we've got the stockpile now that we should be okay, and we should be selling enough as well. Let's just quickly have a little check of the selling price. Yeah, 96, not too bad. And we have 68 for our clothes. So clothes aren't actually worth that much, which is a little bit of a shame. How much is iron? So iron is worth 57. Okay, that's not too bad. In fact, have I not set iron to be exported? I don't know if I have. So maybe that's why we've got so much iron. Yeah, that's starting to make more sense. Yeah, let's start exporting some of these metal bars. Good stuff, good stuff. Yeah, we should be selling that for a lot of money. That makes more sense as to why we maybe weren't making quite as much money as before, because we weren't actually selling our iron. I was sure I set that over in the last episode, but maybe I didn't. Either way, when the traders come through, we should make a boatload of money from selling most of our iron. And we've still got a little bit of some that we can use for things like upgrades as well. And I could actually really do with the money, so if the trader were wanting to come through anytime soon, that would be very much appreciated. Because we want the money. We are a little bit behind in terms of workers now. So, yeah, no, there's the export depot. Yeah, I knew I'd already done that. So instead of that, let's actually just start exporting pottery. It's just obviously off to the side where I couldn't quite see it. We'll start exporting some pottery as well. So we're importing the clay, we're making it into pottery. The pottery is selling for, at the moment, 70 gold. Subject has become sick. Okay, that's not too great. This means that he'll potentially die, potentially pass on to other people as well. We'll just have to keep an eye on it. Yeah, we're importing clay for 13 gold, but we're exporting it for 70. So I think that's actually worth it in terms of the little amount of work that our lovely people have to do just in order to keep that going. We could spend a bunch of our metal in order to boost up our ore mines, but just, again, I mean, our ore mines are a little bit behind, and we do have the metal. Currently making 6 per day. If we boost this up, that goes up to 8. How's our charcoaler doing? Yeah, he's making about 8. Actually, that's probably a good idea. A good investment of our metal just to make sure that we're producing about as much ore as we are charcoal. Seems like our weavers aren't doing too badly either. Now that we're getting a little bit more cotton, we're a little bit further behind when it comes to our workers just because we got that extra cotton farm. And we've also lost, we had an immigrant, we lost probably someone to disease as well, potentially old age. Not so great. We've got 11 days of food, and that doesn't seem to be shifting very much. That seems to be about the same, or has been the same for a little while, which is good. Majority of that does seem to be fish, but it's being stored at least. Yeah, we lost somebody. Somebody died. What a shame. What a shame. Having a little look around the world, Kenneths still seem to be okay. They do actually really like us, which is good. I guess it's probably because of all of our previous decrees and alliances that we've made where we said they were friends. Yeah, we have no soldiers of which we can attack with. That should hopefully change at some point. in the future, especially once we manage to get a couple more people in, which should hopefully be coming fairly shortly. War of the Face, another War of the Face. Can you guys stop beating each other up? That would be fantastic. Anyway, I think with the War of the Faiths going on yet again, I think that's probably a good time to call it here. So just want to say thank you very much for watching. Please leave a comment down below if you'd like to become any of the nobles in this series, and we'll get you in there as well. But yep, thank you very much for watching. If you'd like to become a member of the channel to get earlier access to videos and to help us out, consider becoming a member of the Burger Band. Otherwise, great to have you here. Thank you for watching, and until next time, take care.